Say something, Miss Carter. The board is waiting. Emily's mouth opened, but no words came. Her vision tunneled. 17 executives stared as her knees buckled, the quarterly report slipping from her trembling fingers. She was going down face first into mahogany, worth more than her life, when iron arms locked around her waist. Nathan Blackwell. The room detonated into silence. His breath was hot against her ear as he held her suspended between standing and collapse. I've got you. 3 words. That's all it took for her world to flip inside out. The most dangerous man in the city was holding her like she was made of glass, and nobody dared move. Before you find out what happens next, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This story goes places you won't believe. Comment your city below so I can see how far Emily's story reaches. Trust me, you need to see this through to the end. The text message glowed on Emily Carter's phone at 6:47 a.m. You're already dead, you just don't know it yet. Ryan, always Ryan. Emily deleted it without reading the rest, her hands steady despite the ice spreading through her chest. She'd gotten good at deleting Ryan, deleting his threats, deleting his promises to destroy her, deleting the evidence that she'd been stupid enough to love a man who'd stolen everything except her ability to pretend she was fine. Her phone buzzed again. Bank notification, overdraft fee applied, current balance minus $473.82. Emily laughed a sound like breaking glass and shoved the phone into her purse next to the granola bar that was supposed to be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Again, day 6 of the granola bar diet. Her stomach had stopped growling yesterday. That probably wasn't good. She checked her reflection in the rearview mirror of her Honda that smelled like mildew and defeat. Concealer hid most of the damage. Lipstick made her look alive. The suit she'd been wearing for 3 days straight still looked professional if you didn't look too close. You're Emily Carter, she whispered to her reflection. You're a senior financial analyst at Blackwell Holdings. You're about to present to the board. You're fine. You're completely fine. The lie sat on her tongue like poison. Emily grabbed her laptop bag and stepped out into the parking garage where Mercedes and Teslas gleamed under fluorescent lights. Her Honda looked like a confession. I'm poor. I'm failing. I'm living in my car because my landlord changed the locks 3 weeks ago. Morning, Ms. Carter. Emily jumped. Marcus, the security guard, was walking toward her with his usual smile. You're here early, he continued. Big day. Board presentation. Emily forced brightness into her voice. Quarterly financial analysis. You'll crush it. You always do. Marcus paused, his smile fading. You sure you're okay? You look... I'm great. Emily's voice came out too loud, too sharp. Just nervous. You know how it is. Marcus didn't look convinced, but he nodded. Good luck. Emily practically ran toward the elevators. Inside the glass tower of Blackwell Holdings, everything sparkled. Marble floors, chrome fixtures, people in suits worth more than her college education. Emily used to belong here, used to feel like she'd earned her place through talent and hard work. Now she felt like an imposter waiting to be exposed. The elevator climbed toward the 47th floor executive territory. Emily watched the numbers tick upward, each one a step closer to the moment she'd have to stand in front of people who could destroy her career with a single word. Her phone buzzed. Ryan again, tick-tock, baby. How's the eviction notice looking? Emily's finger hovered over the block button. She'd blocked him 17 times. He always found new numbers. The elevator dinged. Doors opened. Emily stepped into a hallway that smelled like money and fear. Emily, wait up! She turned. Jessica from accounting was speed-walking toward her, coffee in hand, perfectly styled hair bouncing. Oh my God, are you ready for this? Jessica's eyes were wide with excitement. The whole executive team is going to be there, including him. Emily didn't need to ask who him was. There was only one him at Blackwell Holdings. Nathan Blackwell, CEO billionaire. The man whose face appeared in Forbes articles with headlines like "The Most Dangerous Mind in Finance" and "How Nathan Blackwell Built an Empire on the Ashes of His Enemies." I'm ready, Emily lied. Good, because Robert Chen told me this presentation could make or break Q4 strategy. Jessica lowered her voice conspiratorially. And between you and me, I heard Nathan Blackwell actually fired someone mid-presentation last month. Just stood up, said, "You're done," and walked out. The guy was escorted from the building in under 10 minutes. Emily's stomach twisted. That's motivating. Right, Jessica laughed, oblivious. Anyway, good luck, I've got to run. She disappeared around a corner, leaving Emily alone in the hallway outside the boardroom. Through the glass walls, Emily could see executives gathering. Expensive suits, confident postures. People who'd never had to choose between food and rent. People who'd never been robbed blind by someone they loved. Emily's hands started shaking. Not now. She couldn't fall apart now. She ducked into the bathroom, locking herself in a stall. Her reflection in the polished metal was distorted, a funhouse version of the woman she used to be. Emily splashed cold water on her face, careful not to ruin her makeup. Her phone buzzed. Not Ryan this time. Her landlord final warning. Friday at 5 p.m. or I'm selling everything you left behind to cover damages. What damages? The apartment had been perfect when she'd lived there. But Ryan had a key. Ryan had access. And Ryan had probably destroyed the place just to hurt her one more time. Emily typed back, I'll have the money Friday. Another lie. She had negative $400. Friday might as well be never. She left the bathroom and walked toward the boardroom like a prisoner heading for execution. The double doors opened. Emily stepped inside. 17 faces turned toward her. 17 people who held her future in their hands. At the head of the table, in a chair that looked more like a throne, sat Nathan Blackwell. Emily had never been this close to him before. He was younger than she'd expected, maybe mid-30s, with dark hair, sharp cheekbones, and eyes that looked like they could calculate your net worth and destroy it in the same glance. His suit was black, perfectly tailored, and probably cost more than her car. There were rumors about Nathan Blackwell, that he had tattoos hidden under those expensive suits, that he'd started his fortune by taking down a Russian oligarch in a hostile takeover so brutal it was still whispered about in boardrooms, that he never forgot a slight and never forgave a betrayal. Looking at him now, Emily believed every rumor. Miss Carter, Robert Chen, the CFO, gestured impatiently toward the presentation screen. We're on a tight schedule. Of course. Sorry. Emily set down her laptop with fingers that wouldn't stop trembling. She connected to the projector, and her carefully crafted slides appeared on the screen. 6 weeks of work, hundreds of hours of analysis, everything riding on the next 20 minutes. Good morning, Emily began, her voice surprisingly steady. Today's presentation covers our Q3 performance with strategic recommendations for Q4 expansion, focusing on emerging market opportunities in Southeast Asia and risk mitigation in... The room tilted sideways. Emily grabbed the edge of the table. The executives' faces blurred together like a watercolor painting left in the rain. Ms. Carter, Robert's voice came from very far away. Is there a problem? No, I'm fine. But Emily's voice cracked on the word fine, betraying her. She took a breath and forced herself to continue. Our analysis indicates that the fintech sector in Singapore and Jakarta presents significant opportunities for... Her knees buckled. The laptop crashed against the table. Someone gasped. Emily reached for something, anything to steady herself, but her hands found only air. The fluorescent lights above became supernova bright, burning her retinas. She was falling. Time stretched like taffy. Emily saw Robert Chen half standing, his expression shifting from annoyance to alarm. She saw other executives leaning back, creating distance from her failure like it was contagious. She saw the floor rushing up to meet her and thought absurdly, this is going to hurt. Then arms caught her. Strong arms that smelled like sandalwood and something darker, gunpowder maybe, or the ozone scent before a thunderstorm. Arms that held her weight like she was made of air and apologies. Emily forced her eyes open. Nathan Blackwell's face was inches from hers. His expression was unreadable. No pity, no disgust, just a fierce concentration, like she was the equation he needed to solve. His eyes were darker than she'd thought, almost black, and they were looking at her like she was the only person in the room. I've got you, Nathan said quietly, just to her, not for anyone else. The boardroom had gone absolutely silent. Nathan's arms tightened around her, adjusting his grip with surprising gentleness. Emily could feel his heartbeat steady, strong, nothing like her own erratic pulse that felt like hummingbird wings against her ribs. Everyone out. Nathan's voice cut through the silence like a blade. Now. Nobody moved. 17 executives frozen in shock. I said out. Nathan's tone could have stopped hearts. Meeting's over. Chen reschedule. The rest of you leave. If I have to say it again, you'll be leaving permanently. Chairs scraped against marble. Executives grabbed laptops and fled like rats from a sinking ship. Jessica from accounting stared open-mouthed from the doorway until someone pulled her away. Robert Chen opened his mouth to protest. Out, Robert. Robert left. 30 seconds later, the boardroom was empty except for Emily and the man holding her, like she was something precious instead of something broken. I'm sorry, Emily whispered, humiliation burning through her chest hotter than hunger. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. I can reschedule. I'll come back tomorrow. Stop talking. Nathan stood lifting her with him. Emily wanted to protest, wanted to say she could walk, but her legs had turned to water, and the room was still spinning in ways that violated the laws of physics. He carried her toward a door at the end of the hallway, one Emily had never noticed before. Private. Hidden. He kicked it open with one foot, revealing a stairwell that spiraled upward into shadows. Where are we going? Emily managed. Somewhere you can stop pretending. The stairwell led to a private elevator. Nathan hit the button for the 70th floor with his elbow, never setting Emily down. The elevator rose smoothly, and Emily let her head fall against his shoulder because holding it up required more strength than she had left. I'm going to lose my job, Emily said into his suit jacket. Aren't I? No. I just collapsed in front of the entire executive board. Because you're starving. Nathan's voice was flat, factual. When did you last eat a real meal, Emily? The use of her first name startled her into honesty. Tuesday. No, Monday. 5 days. Nathan's arms tightened around her. Jesus Christ. The elevator opened onto a space that looked more like a luxury penthouse than an office. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the entire city. Minimalist furniture in blacks and grays, a kitchen with marble countertops and stainless steel appliances that probably cost more than Emily's yearly salary. Nathan carried Emily to a leather couch and set her down with unexpected gentleness. She sank into cushions soft as clouds. Don't move, Nathan ordered, pulling out his phone. I'm calling my doctor. No, Emily tried to sit up. I'm fine, you need food and medical attention. Nathan's tone allowed no argument. In that order. He made a call, his words clipped and professional. Sarah, I need you at the penthouse immediately. No, not me. Yes, discreet. 20 minutes. He hung up and disappeared into the kitchen. Emily heard cabinets opening, a microwave humming, water running. Her stomach cramped with hunger so intense it felt like her body was eating itself from the inside out. Nathan returned carrying a tray with soup, crackers, orange juice, and water. He set it on the coffee table in front of her. Eat. Emily stared at the soup. Real soup, chicken and vegetables and noodles floating in golden broth that smelled like heaven and home, and everything she'd lost. I can't accept this, Emily said, even though her hands were already reaching for the spoon. This is too much. I need to get back to work. The presentation is postponed indefinitely. Nathan sat across from her, his posture relaxed but his eyes laser-focused. Eat. That's not a request. Emily lifted the spoon to her lips, tasted the broth, and something inside her shattered. Tears spilled down her cheeks before she could stop them. She was crying over soup, sitting in Nathan Blackwell's penthouse crying over chicken noodle soup like a child. I'm sorry, Emily gasped, setting down the spoon. This is so unprofessional. I shouldn't. When did you last eat? Nathan repeated, his voice softer now. I told you, 5 days. Why? Because I don't have any money. The words exploded out of Emily before she could stop them. Because my ex-boyfriend stole everything I had and left me with negative $400 in an eviction notice and credit card debt I didn't even know existed. Because I've been living in my car for 3 weeks and eating granola bars and pretending everything is fine. Because if I admit it's not fine, then I have to admit that I let someone destroy me. The confession hung in the air between them, raw and bleeding. Nathan's expression didn't change, but something dark flickered in his eyes. Keep eating. But Emily, eat. She obeyed, taking small sips of soup even as tears continued falling. Each spoonful felt like a confession. I'm weak. I'm desperate. I'm not the confident analyst you hired. I'm just a girl who loved the wrong person and lost everything. You're not weak, Nathan said, as if he could read her thoughts. You're surviving. It doesn't feel like surviving. It feels like drowning in slow motion. Tell me about the ex-boyfriend. Emily set down the spoon. Why pose him? Because I need to know who I'm destroying. The casual way he said it, like destroying someone, was as simple as scheduling a meeting should have terrified Emily. Instead, it sparked something in her chest, something that felt dangerously like hope. His name is Ryan Mercer, Emily began. We met 2 years ago at a networking event. He was charming, attentive. He made me feel like I was the only woman in the world. Red flag number one, Nathan muttered. Emily almost smiled. I should have seen it, but I was lonely and he was persistent. Within 3 months, we'd moved in together. He convinced me to open a joint bank account for our future. Red flag number two. I know that now. Emily took another spoonful of soup, the warmth spreading through her chest. 6 months ago, I came home from work and found the apartment empty. Furniture gone, my laptop, my jewelry, my grandmother's wedding ring, everything. The joint account was drained. $63,000 just gone. Nathan's jaw clenched. You filed a police report. Yes. The detective said it's nearly impossible to prove fraud when you gave someone access to your accounts willingly. Ryan had texts where I told him to use my card for groceries, emails where I agreed to the joint account. He'd been building his defense for months. Smart bastard. That's not even the worst part. Emily's voice dropped to a whisper. After he took my savings, I started getting calls from debt collectors. Turns out Ryan had opened 3 credit cards in my name, maxed them all out, took out a personal loan using my information. By the time I realized what he'd done, I was $70,000 in debt. Nathan stood abruptly, walking to the windows. His hands were clenched into fists. I'm sorry, Emily said quickly. I shouldn't have dumped all this on you. Stop apologizing. Nathan turned to face her. What did the police say about the identity theft? That I need to file disputes with each creditor individually, that it could take months to resolve, that in the meantime the debt is legally mine. Emily laughed bitterly. Ryan knew exactly what he was doing. He destroyed my credit, stole my savings, and then made sure I couldn't prove any of it. And he's still contacting you. It wasn't a question. Emily nodded. Threats mostly, saying he'll make things worse if I keep fighting. He knows where I work, knows my routine. This morning he texted that I'm already dead and just don't know it yet. Nathan's expression went absolutely glacial. Show me. What? Your phone. Show me the messages. Emily hesitated, then pulled out her phone and handed it over. Nathan scrolled through the text, his face growing darker with each screen. When he reached Ryan's most recent threat, I still have your social security number, baby. I can ruin you anytime I want. Nathan's grip on the phone tightened until Emily thought it might crack. Victor, Nathan said into his own phone, having made the call so fast Emily didn't see him dial. I need a full workup. Ryan Mercer connected to Emily Carter. Everything financials, criminal history, known associates, current location, purchase history for the last 6 months. I want to know what he eats for breakfast. He paused, listening. No, I don't care about protocols. This is priority alpha. I want preliminary findings in 3 hours and a complete profile by tonight. Another pause. Because I said so, Victor. Make it happen. Nathan ended the call and looked at Emily. Victor Hale is head of security. If there's dirt on Ryan Mercer, Victor will find it. You don't have to do this, Emily said, even as hope fluttered in her chest like a trapped bird. This isn't your responsibility. You work for me. That makes it my responsibility. Nathan sat down again, closer this time. How long have you been living in your car? Emily's breath caught. How did you know? You're wearing the same suit you wore yesterday. There's a pillow crease on your left cheek. You smell like dry shampoo and desperation. Nathan's tone was matter-of-fact, not cruel. How long on him? 3 weeks, since my landlord changed the locks. And you kept coming to work. Where else would I go? Nathan was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was dangerously soft. You've been homeless for 3 weeks, starving for 5 days, and you still walked into that boardroom prepared to present a quarterly financial analysis. I didn't have a choice. Everyone has a choice, Emily. You chose to fight. That takes a special kind of courage. Nathan leaned forward, his eyes intense. Or a special kind of stubbornness. Probably both. A ghost of a smile crossed Nathan's face. Probably. Emily's phone rang. Ryan. Nathan's expression hardened. Answer it. Put it on speaker. Why the trust me? Emily answered with shaking hands. Hello. There's my girl. Ryan's voice dripped with false affection. I was worried you'd blocked me again. Don't call me that. Emily's voice was steadier than she felt. Oh, come on. Don't be mad, baby. I'm just checking in, making sure you understand the situation. His tone shifted, becoming sharper. You owe me, Emily. All that money you claim I stole, that was payment for 2 years of my life wasted on you. Nathan's eyes flashed dangerously, but he gestured for Emily to continue. You stole $63,000 from me, Emily said. You opened credit cards in my name. You ruined my credit. That's not payment. That's theft. Ryan laughed. It sounded like nails on a chalkboard. Prove it. Oh, wait, you can't. Because you gave me access to everything. You trusted me. That's on you, sweetheart. It's fraud. It's a he said, she said situation, and we both know who the cops will believe. Rich, successful financial consultant versus desperate ex-girlfriend who can't keep her life together. Ryan's voice turned vicious. Here's how this works, Emily. You're going to wire me $5,000 by Friday, or I'm going to contact your employer. I'll tell them about the drugs. Emily's blood ran cold. What drugs? The ones I'll plant evidence of? Come on, you're smarter than this. I have your social security number, your passwords, your entire digital footprint. Ryan was enjoying this. I can make it look like you've been embezzling from Blackwell Holdings to feed a pill addiction. Who do you think they'll believe me with my clean record, or you with your destroyed credit and eviction notice? Across from Emily, Nathan's expression had gone from cold to absolutely murderous. You wouldn't, Emily breathed. Try me. 5,000 by Friday or your career ends. Hell, I might do it anyway just for fun. You really thought you could ignore my texts? Ryan's laugh was cruel. You're nothing, Emily. You're a broke little girl playing dress up in a world you don't belong in, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows it. The call disconnected. Emily sat frozen, the phone slipping from her numb fingers. Ryan wasn't just trying to extort money. He was threatening to destroy the only thing she had left: her job, her reputation, her future, and he had the tools to do it. He can't actually, Emily's voice cracked. He can't just make up evidence. He can try. Nathan was already on his phone again. Rachel, I need you at the penthouse immediately. Bring everything for an emergency protective order in a federal lawsuit. Yes, federal. Extortion, identity, theft, fraud, and we're just getting started. 20 minutes. He hung up and turned back to Emily. Rachel Winters is the best attorney in the state. She's won cases against the FBI. Ryan Mercer doesn't stand a chance. I can't afford. You're not paying. Nathan's hard tone left no room for argument. This stops now, all of it. Tears welled in Emily's eyes. Why are you helping me? You don't even know me. Nathan was silent for so long, Emily thought he wouldn't answer. When he finally spoke, his voice was rough with old pain. 3 years ago, my sister called me at 2 a.m. She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. Turns out her boyfriend had been abusing her for months, not physically, but financially and emotionally. He'd convinced her she was worthless, that nobody would believe her, that she deserved everything he did to her. Emily's heart clenched. I flew home immediately, but I was too late. She'd already... Nathan's jaw tightened. She didn't make it through the night. Overdose. The bastard had gotten her addicted to pills and then left her alone to die. Nathan, I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. Be willing to let me help. He met her eyes. I see you, Emily. I see you working yourself to death while living in your car. I see you pretending everything's fine when you're falling apart. I saw you choose to collapse rather than ask for help. And I'm telling you right now that ends today. I don't want pity. Good, because I don't pity you. Nathan leaned closer. I respect you. You've been fighting alone for months against an enemy who should have destroyed you 10 times over, and you're still standing. That takes strength most people don't have. But strength doesn't mean you have to keep fighting alone. Emily didn't realize she was crying until Nathan handed her a tissue. She wiped her eyes, trying to pull herself together and failing spectacularly. What happens now? She whispered. Now we fight back. Nathan's smile was predatory. Victor investigates. Rachel builds a case, and you rest. But the presentation can wait. You're staying here tonight. The guest room is yours. I can't impose, Emily. Nathan waited until she looked at him. Let someone catch you for once. Please, or I. That please undid her completely. Okay, Emily whispered. Nathan's phone buzzed. He checked it, and something dark crossed his face. Victor's preliminary report is in. He opened his laptop, read for a moment, then turned the screen toward Emily. Ryan Mercer isn't just your abusive ex, Nathan said quietly. He's a professional con artist with ties to the Volkov crime organization. The room tilted again, but this time it had nothing to do with hunger. Emily leaned forward and reading Victor's report with growing horror. Ryan Mercer, age 32, 6 confirmed financial fraud cases over the past 4 years, all targeting women in positions of corporate access. Last known employment, financial consultant for Volkov Enterprises, a front company for the Russian Volkov crime syndicate. Oh my God, Emily breathed. He was using me to get to Blackwell Holdings. Look at the dates. Nathan pointed to a section of the report. 3 weeks before he drained your accounts, someone using your credentials attempted to access our offshore investment portfolios. The attempt was blocked by our security systems and flagged as suspicious. Emily felt sick. He tried to rob the company. And when he failed, he took everything he could from you and disappeared. Nathan's voice was deadly calm, but he made a critical mistake. He stayed in contact. He kept threatening you. And now we have him on recording attempting extortion against an employee of Blackwell Holdings. If he's connected to the Volkovs, Emily's voice shook. Nathan, those people are dangerous. What's to stop them from coming after you, after me? Let them try. Nathan's confidence was absolute and terrifying. I didn't build this empire by running from threats. A knock interrupted them. Victor Hale entered, a man in his late 40s with the sharp eyes of someone who'd seen combat and the bearing of someone who'd won. He nodded to Nathan, then Emily. Sir, we have a developing situation. Victor pulled out a tablet showing surveillance footage. This was recorded 40 minutes ago outside Ms. Carter's former apartment building. The footage showed Ryan breaking into Emily's old apartment with practiced ease. He searched through the few belongings she'd left behind, pocketing some papers. Then he pulled out a can of spray paint and wrote something on the wall in large red letters. Victor zoomed in. You can't hide from me, bitch. Emily's hands started shaking uncontrollably. There's more, Victor continued grimly. Ryan Mercer purchased a plane ticket to the Cayman Islands this afternoon. Flight leaves tomorrow at 6 a.m. Stop him, Nathan ordered. Already in motion. I've contacted federal authorities. They're coordinating with local police to pick him up tonight on the extortion charges. But sir, Victor's expression darkened. If Mercer is working with the Volkovs, this is bigger than simple extortion. They might have been planning a major corporate breach using Ms. Carter's access. Emily felt the room closing in. I never gave him my work passwords. You didn't have to. Victor showed her another screen. Spyware was installed on your laptop 6 months ago. Every keystroke, every password, every file you accessed, all of it was being recorded and sent to an encrypted server. Jesus Christ, Nathan muttered. The good news, Victor continued, is that our systems caught and blocked the breach attempt. The bad news is that the Volkovs don't take failure well. They might see Ms. Carter as a loose end. Then she stays here, Nathan said flatly. 24-hour security. Nobody gets near her without going through you first. Agreed, as he did. I'll have a team in place within the hour. Victor turned to Emily. Ms. Carter, I need you to write down everything you remember about Ryan Mercer. Every place he took you, every person he introduced you to, every conversation about his work or background. Even details that seem irrelevant. Emily nodded numbly. Victor left to coordinate security. Nathan made more calls, his voice cold and efficient as he mobilized resources Emily couldn't begin to comprehend. She sat on the couch watching the city lights below and wondering how her life had become a crime thriller. When Nathan finally hung up, he sat beside her close enough that she could feel his warmth far enough to give her space. I know this is overwhelming, he said quietly, but you're safe here, I promise you that. How can you promise that the Volkovs have made a very stupid mistake? Nathan's eyes were hard as diamonds. They tried to breach Blackwell Holdings. That makes this personal. And I always win when it's personal. Emily wanted to believe him, but hope was dangerous. Hope had betrayed her before. What if Ryan disappears before the police get to him, Emily asked. What if he's already gone? Then Victor will find him. Nathan's certainty was unshakable. Victor used to work for the CIA. He's found targets in countries that don't exist on maps. Ryan Mercer is amateur hour. Despite everything, Emily felt a small smile tug at her lips. You're very confident. I'm very rich. It's not the same thing, but it helps. This time, Emily actually laughed a real laugh that felt strange and wonderful after weeks of crying. Nathan stood offering his hand. Come on, let me show you the guest room. You need real rest. Emily took his hand and let him pull her to her feet. He led her through the penthouse to a bedroom that was bigger than her entire old apartment. King-size bed with Egyptian cotton sheets, attached bathroom with heated floors, and a rainfall shower. Windows overlooking the city like a kingdom laid out at her feet. There are clothes in the closet, Nathan said. My assistant keeps a selection of sizes for situations. Take whatever fits. Thank you, Emily whispered. For all of this, I don't know how I'll ever repay you. You'll repay me by staying alive and letting us handle Ryan Mercer. Nathan paused in the doorway. And Emily, you're not losing your job. When you're ready, you'll finish that presentation. But on your terms, not theirs. He left before she could respond. Emily stood alone in the guest room trying to process the last 4 hours. This morning, she'd been homeless, starving, and contemplating whether her life was worth continuing. Now she was in Nathan Blackwell's penthouse, protected by private security, with federal authorities hunting down her ex-boyfriend. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. You think Blackwell can protect you? He'll get bored, and when he does, I'll be waiting. Ryan. Always Ryan. But this time, Emily didn't delete the message. She screenshot it and sent it to Victor's number that Nathan had programmed into her phone. Evidence, ammunition, proof. Emily took a long shower, washing away days of fear and dirt. She found clothes in the closet, soft cotton pants, and a cashmere sweater that felt like clouds against her skin. When she emerged, there was a tray of food outside her door, sandwich fruit cookies, and a note in sharp handwriting. Eat, sleep, trust that I've got this. Emily carried the tray inside, sat on the bed, and ate slowly while watching the sun set over the city. For the first time in months, her stomach was full. For the first time in weeks, she wasn't sleeping in her car. For the first time since Ryan, she felt something other than despair. She felt angry. Ryan Mercer had stolen her money, her home, her peace of mind, and nearly her life. He'd used her as a pawn in whatever game the Volkovs were playing. He'd threatened to destroy her career, her reputation, everything she'd worked for. And Nathan Blackwell, the most feared man in the city, had looked at her collapse and seen someone worth saving. Emily finished eating and climbed into bed. The sheets were soft as silk, the mattress perfectly firm. She should feel out of place here in this luxury she hadn't earned. Instead, she felt something she'd almost forgotten. Safe. Her phone buzzed one last time. Nathan Victor's team is in position. Sleep well. Emily turned off the lights and closed her eyes. Tomorrow, Ryan Mercer would learn what happened when you threatened someone under Nathan Blackwell's protection. And Emily Carter would learn what it felt like to fight back. If you or someone you know is having a difficult time, free support is available. Find resources. Emily woke to the sound of voices arguing outside her door. I don't care what your protocols say, Victor. She needs to know what we found. Nathan's voice, sharp, angry. Sir, with all due respect, showing her the surveillance photos right now would be what kindered to keep her in the dark while Ryan Mercer plans his next move. Emily sat up, her heart hammering. She'd slept 4 hours, the most she'd gotten in weeks, but adrenaline yanked her instantly awake. She grabbed the cashmere sweater and opened the door. Nathan and Victor both turned. Nathan's tie was loosened, his jaw tight. Victor held a tablet against his chest like he was hiding something. What photos? Emily demanded. Victor looked at Nathan. Nathan's expression was grim. Show her, Nathan said. Victor hesitated, then handed Emily the tablet. Ms. Carter, what you're about to see. Emily looked at the screen and felt her blood turn to ice. The photo showed Ryan outside Blackwell Holdings. Yesterday, he'd been watching the building. Watching her. The timestamp read 4:47 p.m., exactly when Emily had left work to sleep in her car. She swiped. Another photo, Ryan talking to a man in an expensive suit. The man's face was partially obscured, but something about him radiated danger. Who is that? Emily's voice came out steady despite the terror crawling up her spine. Dmitry Volkov, Victor said quietly. He runs the family's North American operations. If Ryan's reporting directly to him, this is bigger than we thought. Emily swiped again. Her hands started shaking. The third photo showed Ryan holding a file folder. Even in the grainy surveillance image, Emily could read the label Carter. Emily. Personnel file. He has my employee records, Emily whispered. How did he? Someone inside the company gave them to him, Nathan said flatly, which means we have a mole. The tablet nearly slipped from Emily's fingers. A mole. Inside Blackwell Holdings. Someone she worked with every day had handed her personal information to Ryan like she was merchandise. Do you know who? Emily asked. Not yet, but we will. Nathan took the tablet back, his expression murderous. Victor's running background checks on everyone who had access to HR files in the last 6 months. We'll find them. And when you do, they'll wish they'd never been born. The casual certainty in Nathan's voice should have frightened Emily. Instead, it made her feel protected, safe, like she wasn't fighting alone anymore. There's something else, Victor said reluctantly. The federal agents went to pick up Ryan at his apartment an hour ago. He was gone, packed up, and left sometime after midnight. Emily's stomach dropped. He ran. He tried to run, Nathan corrected. There's a difference. Victor, tell her the rest. Victor pulled up another screen. Ryan Mercer made 3 mistakes. First, he used his real ID to book the Cayman Islands flight, which means we know exactly where he was planning to go. Second, he withdrew $8,000 in cash from an ATM at 11:47 p.m., which gave us his location. Third, Victor's smile was sharp as a blade. He stopped at a gas station in Newark and used his credit card. We have him on security footage filling up a rental car. So you know where he is. Better. We know where he's going. Victor zoomed in on the gas station footage. The rental agreement was in the glove box. He's driving to a private airfield in Connecticut. Small operation caters to people who want to avoid TSA. His flight leaves at 6 a.m. Emily checked her phone. 4:23 a.m. He's getting away, she said. No, Nathan said quietly. He's walking into a trap. Federal agents are waiting at the airfield. The moment Ryan tries to board that plane, they'll arrest him. Emily wanted to feel relief. Instead, she felt sick. What if he doesn't go to the airfield? What if he changes plans? Then we move to plan B. Nathan's eyes were cold. Victor has teams tracking the rental somewhere. Ryan Mercer isn't disappearing, not this time. Emily's phone buzzed. Unknown number. Her hands shook as she opened the message. You really think you won? Check your email, baby. I sent you a present. It's Ryan, Emily breathed. Nathan took her phone before she could stop him. He read the message, his face going absolutely dark. What email account? My work email. Why, bye. Emily's breath caught. Oh, God. What did he send? Nathan was already on his laptop, his fingers flying across the keyboard. Victor moved behind him, watching the screen. Both men's expressions grew progressively more furious. What? Emily demanded. What did he send? Nathan turned the laptop toward her. Emily's work inbox was open. The top email was from an encrypted address sent 15 minutes ago. The subject line read, Fraud Evidence, Emily Carter. Emily clicked it with trembling fingers. The email contained attachments, dozens of them, bank statements showing transfers from Blackwell Holdings accounts to offshore accounts in Emily's name, credit card records for purchases Emily had never made, a photoshopped image of Emily's signature on loan documents. He's framing me, Emily whispered. He's making it look like I've been embezzling from the company. Badly, Victor said. The forgeries are amateur hour. Any forensic accountant would spot them in minutes. But that's not the point, Nathan said grimly. The point is to create doubt, to make people question Emily's integrity long enough for Ryan to disappear. Emily scrolled down. The email had been sent to 17 recipients. She recognized every name, the entire executive board, including Robert Chen. They all think I'm a thief, Emily said numbly. By the time I get to the office this morning, security will be waiting to escort me out. No, they won't. Nathan's voice was absolute. Because you're not going anywhere near the office. Victor, send this to Rachel immediately. I want a defamation lawsuit filed before sunrise. Already on it, Victor said, typing rapidly on his own device. Nathan turned back to Emily. Listen to me very carefully. Ryan sent this email from an encrypted account, which means he left a digital trail. Our IT team will trace it back to him within hours. The forgeries are provable forgeries. And most importantly, Nathan's smile was predatory. He sent this email while fleeing federal charges, which makes this evidence of ongoing criminal activity. But the board will receive a follow-up email from me in exactly— Nathan checked his watch. 10 minutes. Explaining that Ms. Emily Carter is under my personal protection, that she's the victim of an elaborate fraud scheme, and that anyone who questions her integrity will be answering to me personally. Emily stared at him. You do that. I'm doing it right now. Nathan was already typing. Victor, I want the IT forensics report on my desk by 7 a.m. Rachel needs to see the metadata on these forgeries. And get me a meeting with the FBI field office. If Ryan Mercer thinks he can frame an employee of Blackwell Holdings, he's about to learn a very painful lesson. Victor nodded and left the room already on his phone. Emily sank onto the couch, her mind reeling. Ryan had sent fake evidence to her entire board. He was trying to destroy her professionally even as he ran from federal charges. The level of vindictiveness was staggering. Why is he doing this? Emily asked. If he's running, why waste time trying to frame me? Because you're a loose end. Nathan sat beside her close enough that their shoulders touched. You know about his connection to the Volkovs. You have evidence of his fraud. As long as you're credible, you're a threat to him. So he's trying to destroy my credibility before he disappears. Yes, and he's failing. Nathan showed her his laptop screen. Look at the timestamps on these bank statements. They show transfers happening at times when you were in documented meetings. Some of them show you accessing accounts from IP addresses in buildings you've never been to. Ryan got sloppy. Emily looked closer. Nathan was right. One of the fake transfers allegedly happened at 2:15 p.m. on a Tuesday. She remembered that meeting because it had run 3 hours long. Robert Chen had been there. So had Nathan. I was presenting the Q2 analysis when this transfer supposedly happened, Emily said. Exactly, which means you have 17 witnesses who can confirm you were nowhere near a computer at that time. Nathan's smile was sharp. Ryan just handed us proof of his forgery. Emily's phone rang. Not a text this time, an actual call, unknown number. She looked at Nathan. He nodded. Emily answered on speaker. Hello. Did you get my present? Ryan's voice was smug, triumphant. I wanted to make sure you understood. Even if I go down, you're coming with me. You sent fake evidence to my board, Emily said, surprised by how steady her voice was. Badly faked evidence. They'll see through it in minutes. Ryan laughed. You think Blackwell cares about truth? He cares about liability. And you just became a massive liability baby. By noon today, you'll be fired and facing criminal charges. I made sure of it. You made sure of nothing. Nathan's voice cut through the line like ice. This is Nathan Blackwell. And you just made your second mistake of the night. The silence on the other end was deafening. Your first mistake, Nathan continued, was running from federal agents. Your second was sending fraudulent evidence about my employee. And your third, the one that's going to bury you, was thinking I wouldn't come after you personally. Who the hell do you think you are? Ryan's voice had lost its smugness. Now he just sounded scared. I'm the man who's going to destroy everything you've ever touched. Your accounts frozen. Your contacts being arrested as we speak. The Volkovs, they'll abandon you the second they realize you've become a liability. Nathan's tone was conversational, which somehow made it more terrifying. You threatened Emily. You stole from her. You tried to use her to breach my company, and now you've sent forged evidence in a pathetic attempt to frame her. Each one of those actions carries consequences, Ryan, and I always collect. You can't touch me, Ryan said, but his voice shook. I'm already gone. By the time your people figure out where I am, I'll be in a country with no extradition treaty. You're driving a silver Honda Civic license plate, NJ437K, BM currently on I-95 North, approximately 12 miles from the Connecticut border. Nathan said calmly, You stopped at a Dunkin' Donuts 7 minutes ago and ordered a large coffee, black no sugar. You are wearing a Yankees cap and a blue jacket, and there are 3 unmarked federal vehicles tracking you right now. So please, Ryan, tell me again how you're already gone. The call disconnected. Emily stared at Nathan in shock. How did you? Victor's very good at his job. Nathan was already on his phone. Victor, Ryan knows we're tracking him. He's going to panic. Where's the nearest exit? Emily heard Victor's voice through the speaker. Exit 67 in 4 miles. But sir, the feds are ready to intercept at the airfield. He's not going to the airfield anymore. He's going to run. Nathan's voice was sharp. Get local police to set up a roadblock at exit 67. Tell the feds to move in now. I want Ryan Mercer in custody in the next 10 minutes. On it. Nathan hung up and looked at Emily. It's almost over. Emily wanted to believe him, but Ryan had surprised her before, hurt her before, destroyed her before. What if he gets away? Emily whispered. He won't. But if he does? Nathan took her hands, stopping her spiral. Emily, look at me. She did. His eyes were dark and intense and completely certain. Ryan Mercer is not getting away, Nathan said quietly, because I don't lose, ever. Especially not to a two-bit con artist who thinks he can threaten what's mine. What's mine? The words hung between them, heavy with implication. Emily should probably unpack that later. Right now, she just felt grateful. Nathan's phone rang. Victor. Nathan answered immediately. Talk to me. Emily couldn't hear Victor's words, but she watched Nathan's expression shift from tense to satisfied. Confirmed, Nathan asked. A pause. Good. I want him in federal custody, not local. And Victor makes sure the Volkovs know their boy just became a cooperating witness. Let them clean their own house. Nathan hung up and turned to Emily. His smile was predatory and triumphant. Ryan Mercer was arrested at 4:47 a.m., attempting to flee federal charges. He's currently in FBI custody facing charges of fraud, identity theft, extortion, and attempted corporate espionage. Nathan's voice was pure satisfaction. He's looking at 15 to 20 years, minimum. Emily felt something crack open in her chest. Not quite relief, not quite joy. Something bigger and more terrifying. Freedom. It's really over, she asked. The Ryan part is over. The rest we're still working on. Nathan stood, offering his hand. Come on, we need to deal with that email he sent to the board. Emily took his hand and let him pull her up. They walked to Nathan's office, a massive space with floor-to-ceiling windows and enough technology to run a small country. Nathan pulled up his email and showed Emily what he'd written. The message was addressed to all 17 board members. It was brief, professional, and absolutely devastating to Ryan's credibility. To the executive board. You recently received a fraudulent email containing forged financial documents purporting to show misconduct by Ms. Emily Carter. These documents are fabrications created by Ryan Mercer, who is currently in federal custody, facing charges including fraud, identity theft, extortion, and attempted corporate espionage against Blackwell Holdings. Ms. Carter is a victim, not a perpetrator. She has my complete confidence and support. Any questions about this matter should be directed to me personally. Attached, you will find the FBI case number preliminary forensic analysis proving the documents are forgeries and a cease and desist letter from our legal team regarding any discussion of this matter. Nathan Blackwell, CEO. You're really sending this, Emily asked. Already sent, 3 minutes ago. Nathan showed her the timestamp. Robert Chen responded 30 seconds later with an apology. So did Linda Martinez and James Okoye. The rest will follow once they wake up and check their email. Emily read the responses. Robert's was professional and apologetic. Linda's was warmer, expressing concern for Emily's well-being. James's was brief but supportive. They believe you. Yo, Emily said, wonder creeping into her voice. They believe the evidence, and the evidence proves Ryan's a liar. Nathan closed his laptop. Emily, I need you to understand something. What Ryan did to you, the theft, the fraud, the psychological abuse, that wasn't your fault. You didn't fail. He's a professional criminal who targeted you specifically because you had something he wanted. That's on him, not you. Tears pricked Emily's eyes. Everyone kept telling me I should have known better, that I should have seen the signs, that I was stupid for trusting him. Everyone was wrong. Nathan's voice was firm. Con artists are professionals. That's why they're called con artists. They study psychology. They learn exactly what to say and do to gain trust. You weren't stupid. You were human. I lost everything. You lost money and possessions. You didn't lose yourself. Nathan stepped closer. You showed up to work every day. You lived in your car rather than give up. You prepared a presentation while starving. You fought Emily, and now we're going to help you win. Emily wiped her eyes. What happens now? Now Rachel files the lawsuits. The FBI builds their case. Our IT team traces every dollar Ryan stole, and we get it back. Nathan paused. And you take some time to recover, real time, not just a day off. But the presentation will happen when you're ready, on your timeline. Nathan's expression softened. Emily, you collapsed in my boardroom yesterday because you were starving. You've been homeless for 3 weeks. You're not going back to work until you're actually okay. I can't just not work. You're on paid medical leave effective immediately. Doctor's orders. Nathan held up a hand before Emily could protest. Oh no. Non-negotiable. You'll continue receiving your full salary plus a hardship bonus to cover your stolen savings until we recover the actual funds. Victor's team will move your belongings from storage, yes, I know about the storage unit, into a corporate apartment. Furnished utilities included yours for as long as you need it. Emily felt tears spilling down her cheeks again. Why are you doing all this? Because it's the right thing to do. And because Nathan hesitated, something vulnerable crossing his face. Because I wish someone had done it for my sister. The confession hung between them, raw and honest. Thank you, Emily whispered, for all of it, for believing me, for helping me, for, her voice broke, for catching me when I fell. Always. The word came out rough, like it surprised Nathan as much as it surprised Emily. Before either of them could say more, Victor appeared in the doorway. Sir, we have a situation. Rachel's here, and she brought someone from the FBI. Emily's stomach dropped. What? Why? It's fine, Nathan said quickly. Rachel wouldn't bring them here if it wasn't safe. Come on. They walked to the main living area where a woman in her 50s stood talking to a man in a dark suit. The woman had silver hair, sharp eyes, and the bearing of someone who'd argued before the Supreme Court. The man looked like every FBI agent Emily had ever seen in movies. Conservative suit, serious expression, alert posture. Nathan, Emily, this is Special Agent Marcus Reeves, Rachel said. He's heading the investigation into Ryan Mercer and the Volkov organization. Agent Reeves stepped forward, offering his hand. Ms. Carter, I need to ask you some questions about your relationship with Ryan Mercer. Emily's hands started shaking again. Nathan moved closer, his presence solid and reassuring. Am I being investigated? Emily asked. No, Agent Reeves said firmly. You're a victim and a witness, but your testimony is crucial to building our case against Mercer and potentially the Volkovs. I know this is difficult, but I need you to tell me everything. Emily looked at Nathan. He nodded encouragingly. So Emily talked. She told Agent Reeves about meeting Ryan at the networking event, about how charming he'd been, how quickly he'd integrated himself into her life. She told him about the joint bank account, the stolen savings, the credit cards opened in her name. Did Ryan ever mention his work? Agent Reeves asked, taking notes. He said he was a financial consultant, independent. He traveled a lot for clients. Did he ever mention name-specific companies? Emily thought back. Once he mentioned working with Russian investors, but he said it was confidential. Agent Reeves exchanged a look with Rachel. When was this? About 4 months ago. He'd just gotten back from a trip to New York. He seemed stressed, drank more than usual that night. Did he say anything specific about these investors? Emily closed her eyes, trying to remember. Ryan had been sitting on her couch, 3 glasses of whiskey deep, complaining about demanding clients. He said something like, Emily paused, the memory crystallizing. He said, these Russians think they own everyone they touch. One mistake and you're dead. I asked if he was in trouble. He laughed it off, said he was being dramatic. Agent Reeves leaned forward. Miss Carter, this is important. Did Ryan ever seem afraid? Did anyone threaten him in your presence? No, but Emily hesitated. There was one night about a month before he left. Someone called him at 2 a.m. I was half asleep, but I heard him arguing in Russian. I didn't know he spoke Russian. When I asked about it the next morning, he said it was a wrong number. You're sure it was Russian? Agent Reeves asked. My college roommate was from Moscow. I recognized the sound of it. Agent Reeves was writing rapidly now. Did Ryan have any distinctive items, anything he always carried with him? Emily thought. A silver lighter. He didn't smoke, but he always had this lighter in his pocket. I asked about it once. He said it was from his father. Can you describe it? Silver, rectangular. It had an engraving on it, a bird with 2 heads. The room went very quiet. Rachel and Agent Reeves exchanged another look, this one much more significant. That's the Romanov double-headed eagle, Nathan said quietly. It's a symbol used by old guard Russian organizations. The Volkovs use it. So Ryan was definitely working for them, Emily said. More than that, Agent Reeves had said grimly. That lighter is a marker. The Volkovs give them to people they own. Ryan Mercer wasn't just working for them, and he was property. Emily felt sick. So everything, our entire relationship, was an assignment, Agent Reeves confirmed. The Volkovs identified you as someone with access to Blackwell Holdings' financial systems. They sent Ryan to get close to you, gain your trust, and eventually use your credentials to breach the company. But he stole from me first, Emily said. He drained my accounts months before trying to access the company's systems. Practice run, Nathan said darkly. He was testing how much he could take before you fought back. When you didn't immediately report him, he knew you were vulnerable enough for the bigger plan. Emily's hands clenched into fists. I should have reported him immediately. Then you'd probably be dead, Agent Reeves said bluntly. The Volkovs don't leave witnesses. The only reason you're still alive is because Ryan's plan failed before they got what they wanted. You became useless to them. The casual way he said it, you'd probably be dead, made Emily's blood run cold. Ms. Carter, Agent Reeves continued, I need you to testify, not just about the theft and fraud, but about everything. Every conversation about his work. Every time he seemed afraid. Every detail about that lighter. Your testimony could help us build a RICO case against the Volkov organization. RICO, Emily asked. Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, Rachel explained. It's how the FBI takes down entire criminal enterprises. If we can prove the Volkovs are running a pattern of criminal activity and your case combined with others could do that, we can dismantle their entire operation. Emily looked at Nathan. Would I be safe if I testify against the Volkovs? Witness protection is an option, Agent Reeves said. No. Nathan's voice was absolute. Emily stays here, under my protection. Non-negotiable. Agent Reeves frowned. Mr. Blackwell, with all respect, witness protection exists for a reason. And with all respect, Agent Reeves, the Volkovs have already tried to breach my company. They've already targeted one of my employees. If they want to come after Emily, they'll have to go through me. Nathan's smile was dangerous. I welcome the attempt. Nathan, Rachel started, I'm not putting Emily in a safe house somewhere in Nebraska while the Volkovs operate freely in my city, Nathan said flatly. She stays here. Victor's security is better than anything the FBI can provide. End of discussion. Agent Reeves looked like he wanted to argue, but something in Nathan's expression stopped him. Fine, Agent Reeves said. But Ms. Carter, you need to understand the risks. The Volkovs have a long reach. I understand, Emily interrupted. And I'll testify. Ryan destroyed my life. If my testimony can stop him from doing it to someone else, I'll do it. Agent Reeves nodded approvingly. We'll need you to come to the field office tomorrow to make a formal statement. Bring everything you have, texts, emails, bank records, anything. I'll have it ready, Emily said. After Agent Reeves left, Rachel stayed behind. She pulled out a thick folder and set it on the coffee table. This is the preliminary case against Ryan Mercer, Rachel said. Fraud, identity theft, extortion, attempted corporate espionage. With Emily's testimony, we're looking at 15 to 20 years in federal prison. What about getting my money back, Emily asked. That's trickier. Ryan spent most of it or moved it offshore, but... Rachel smiled. We've frozen his accounts, found about $18,000. It's not everything, but it's a start. We're also going after the Volkovs' assets. If we can prove they financed Ryan's operation, we can seize their funds through civil forfeiture. How long will that take? Months, maybe a year. Rachel's expression softened. I know that's not what you want to hear, but we'll get your money back, Emily. All of it. I promise you that. Emily nodded, trying not to cry again. $18,000 was better than nothing. It was a start. Rachel left shortly after, promising to call with updates. Victor appeared to escort her out, then returned with food breakfast, apparently, though Emily had lost all sense of time. Nathan and Emily ate in silence, both exhausted. The sun was rising over the city, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. It should have been beautiful. Instead, it just felt surreal. You should sleep, Nathan said finally. Real sleep in a real bed. I don't think I can sleep, Emily admitted. Every time I close my eyes, I see Ryan. I hear his voice. I remember. Her voice broke. I remember loving him. How stupid is that? After everything he did, I still remember what it felt like when I thought it was real. That's not stupid, that's human. Nathan set down his coffee cup. Emily, Ryan exploited your capacity for trust, your ability to love. Those aren't weaknesses, they're strengths. Don't let him take those from you too. How can I ever trust anyone again? How can I? Emily's breath hitched. How can I trust myself? I didn't see it. Any of it. What if I'm just broken now? Nathan moved to sit beside her close enough that she could feel his warmth, but not touching. You're not broken, he said quietly. You're hurt. There's a difference. Broken things can't be fixed. Hurt things heal. And if I don't heal, Emily whispered, then I'll be here while you figure it out. Nathan's eyes met hers. You don't have to have all the answers right now, Emily. You just have to survive today. Tomorrow we'll worry about tomorrow. Emily felt something shift in her chest. Not quite hope, not quite trust. Something smaller and more fragile. Possibility. Okay, she whispered, just today. Nathan smiled a real smile, small and genuine. Just today. Emily's phone buzzed. She almost didn't check it, but something made her look. It was a text from a number she didn't recognize. Ms. Carter, this is Special Agent Reeves. Ryan Mercer has requested to speak with you. He says he has information about the Volkovs he'll only share if you agree to visit him. This is completely your choice. No pressure from the Bureau. Emily showed Nathan the message. His expression went dark. Absolutely not, Nathan said immediately. It's a manipulation tactic. Ryan wants to see you scared, wants to feel like he still has power over you. Don't give him that satisfaction. But what if he really does have information? Emily asked. What if it could help the case? Then he can share it with his lawyer in the FBI. He doesn't get access to you. Nathan's voice was firm. Emily, this is a trap. Ryan knows he's going to prison. He's looking for any leverage he can find. And seeing you making you afraid, that's his last bit of power. Emily knew Nathan was right. But a part of her, the part that still remembered loving Ryan, the part that needed answers, wanted to see him. Wanted to look him in the eye and ask why. Why her? Why any of it? What if I went with protection? Emily asked. With you and Victor. What if I need to see him, Nathan. I need to understand. Nathan looked at her for a long moment. You won't get the answers you're looking for. Maybe not, but I need to try. Nathan sighed, running a hand through his hair. If, and this is a massive, if we do this, it happens on my terms. Secure location. Victor's team providing security. I'm in the room with you the entire time, and the second Ryan crosses a line, we're done. Okay, Emily said. I still think this is a bad idea. Probably, but it's my bad idea. Emily managed a weak smile. I've been making Ryan's choices for 2 years. I need to make my own again. Even the stupid ones. Nathan's expression softened. All right, I'll call Agent Reeves, but Emily, he waited until she looked at him. Whatever Ryan says in there, remember, it's manipulation. He's a professional liar. Don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. I won't, Emily promised. But even as she said it, she wondered if that was true. Because part of her, the stupid, broken, hopeful part, still wanted Ryan to say he'd loved her. That somewhere in all the lies, there'd been something real. Even though she knew there hadn't been. Even though she knew the truth would destroy her all over again. The federal holding facility smelled like disinfectant and desperation. Emily walked through the security checkpoint with Nathan on her left and Victor on her right, flanked by 2 more security personnel she didn't recognize. Agent Reeves met them in the corridor, his expression grim. He's in interview room 3. You have 20 minutes. Agent Reeves looked at Emily. Are you sure about this? Emily's hands were shaking, but she nodded. I'm sure. Remember what we discussed, Nathan said quietly. You're in control, not him. The second you want to leave, we leave. Emily took a breath and pushed through the door. Ryan sat on the other side of a metal table, hands cuffed to a chain bolted to the floor. He looked different, smaller somehow. His expensive suit was gone, replaced by an orange jumpsuit. His hair was uncombed. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. But when he saw Emily, his face lit up with that same charming smile that had once made her heart race. Emily, Ryan said, his voice warm and familiar. Thank God, I knew you'd come. Emily felt Nathan tense beside her. She sat down across from Ryan, keeping her face neutral. You said you had information about the Volkovs, Emily said. Her voice came out steadier than she felt. Talk. Ryan's smile faltered. That's it. No how are you, no concern for what they're doing to me in here. You stole $63,000 from me. You opened credit cards in my name. You tried to frame me for embezzlement. Emily's voice was flat. Why would I care what they're doing to you? Because I still love you, Ryan said softly. Everything I did it was to protect you. Nathan made a sound that might have been a laugh. Ryan's eyes flickered to him, then back to Emily. Who's this, your new boyfriend? Ryan's tone turned mocking. That was fast, baby. I've been gone 3 months, and you're already sleeping with the boss. I'm not sleeping with anyone, Emily said coldly, and you don't get to call me baby anymore. You lost that right when you destroyed my life. I didn't destroy anything. The Volkovs did. Ryan leaned forward as much as his chains allowed. Emily, you have to understand. They approached me 2 years ago, said they needed access to Blackwell Holdings. If I didn't help them, they'd kill my sister. Emily felt something crack in her chest. You don't have a sister. I do. Sarah. She lives in Philadelphia. The Volkovs have people watching her apartment right now. If I don't cooperate, Ryan's voice broke convincingly. They'll kill her, Emily. That's why I did everything. I was trying to get enough money to get us both out of the country, to disappear before they could hurt either of us. It sounded real. It sounded true. Emily felt herself starting to believe him. Then Nathan spoke. Your supposed sister Sarah doesn't exist, Nathan said calmly. Victor ran a complete background check. You're an only child. Your parents died in a car accident when you were 12. You spent 6 years in foster care before aging out of the system. There is no sister in Philadelphia or anywhere else. Ryan's face went blank for a fraction of a second. Then the charm snapped back into place. Of course you'd say that, Ryan said to Nathan. You want Emily all to yourself. You can't stand that she loved me first. I didn't love you, Emily said quietly. I loved who I thought you were. That person never existed. That's not true. Everything about you was a lie. Emily's voice was getting stronger now, anger burning through the hurt. Your job, your background, your feelings for me, all of it. You were an assignment. I was a target. That's all I ever was to you. Ryan's expression shifted, the charm falling away to reveal something colder underneath. Fine, you want the truth. Here's the truth. You were the easiest mark I've ever worked. So desperate to be loved that you believed every word I said. So pathetic that you actually thanked me for letting you pay for dinner. Emily felt the words hit like physical blows, but she didn't flinch. You're right, Emily said. I was desperate. I was lonely. I wanted someone to love me, and you exploited that. But that says more about you than it does about me. Does it? Ryan leaned back, smirking. Or does it say you're just another stupid woman who thought she could change a bad boy? You saw what you wanted to see, Emily. Don't blame me for giving you exactly what you asked for. I asked for love. You gave me abuse. I gave you excitement, adventure. I made your boring little life interesting. Ryan's eyes were cruel now. Without me, you were nothing. A nobody analyst at a company that didn't even know your name. I made you matter. No, Nathan said quietly, dangerously. She always mattered. You just convinced her otherwise. Ryan ignored him, focused entirely on Emily. You think Blackwell here actually cares about you? Please. He feels guilty about his dead sister, and you're his redemption project. The second you're not broken anymore, he'll lose interest. Men like him don't fall for women like you, baby. They collect them. Emily waited for the words to hurt, waited for the doubt to creep in, but all she felt was tired. You're trying to manipulate me, Emily said. One last time. You're trying to make me doubt. Nathan, doubt myself, doubt everything. Because if you can make me feel worthless again, you win. Even from prison, you win. I do win, Ryan said, because you'll never trust anyone again. I made sure of that. Every relationship you have from now on, you'll be looking for the lies, waiting for them to hurt you. I broke you, Emily, and you'll stay broken. Emily stood up. You're wrong. Am I? Ryan's smile was vicious. We'll see. Give it 6 months. A year, maybe. You'll realize Nathan's just using you like I did. And when you do, when you're alone and broken and exactly where I left you, remember that I told you so. Interview's over, Nathan said, standing. His voice was cold enough to freeze blood. Wait, Ryan's composure cracked. Emily, wait, I do have real information about the Volkovs, about who they're targeting next. But I'll only tell you, not the FBI, not Blackwell, just you. Emily paused at the door. Why? Because I need you to know the truth about what they're planning, about Ryan hesitated, and for the first time he looked genuinely afraid. About what they'll do to you when they find out you're testifying. Let them try, Emily said. You don't understand. The Volkovs don't make threats. They make examples, and you, Ryan's voice dropped. You just became their next example. Emily felt ice slide down her spine, but she kept her face neutral. Then they'll have to go through Nathan. Good luck with that. She walked out without looking back. In the hallway, Emily's legs nearly gave out. Nathan caught her elbow, steadying her. You did good, Nathan said quietly. You didn't let him manipulate you. He said the Volkovs are targeting me, Emily said. Her voice shook. What if he's telling the truth? Then we deal with it. Victor appeared beside them. Sir, we need to move, now. Nathan's expression shifted instantly. What happened? Dmitry Volkov just posted bail for 3 of his lieutenants. They were released 20 minutes ago. Victor was already guiding them toward the exit. Our intel suggests they're mobilizing. For what? Emily asked. Victor's expression was grim. Probably to clean up loose ends, which means you. They moved fast through the facility, Victor speaking rapidly into his phone in a language Emily didn't recognize. 2 black SUVs waited outside, engines running. Victor ushered Emily into the back of the first one, Nathan sliding in beside her. Where are we going? Emily asked as the SUV pulled away from the curb. Somewhere safe, Nathan said, but his jaw was tight, his eyes constantly scanning the street. Emily's phone buzzed, unknown number. She almost didn't check it, but something made her look. The message contained a photo. Emily's apartment building. Her old apartment building, the one she'd been evicted from. The photo had been taken within the last hour. She could see morning light, fresh coffee stains on the sidewalk from the cafe next door. Below the photo, a message. We know where you lived. We know where you work. We know where you're hiding. You can't run from us, Emily Carter. Emily showed Nathan the message with trembling hands. His expression went absolutely dark. Victor, they've made contact, Nathan said. Threats via text. They know about the apartment. Already tracking the number, Victor said from the front seat. But sir, it's a burner. They'll dump it in minutes. Then track them faster. Emily felt the SUV accelerate. The city blurred past the windows. She tried to breathe, tried to stay calm, but panic was clawing up her throat. They're going to kill me, Emily whispered. Aren't they? No, Nathan said firmly. They're not. How can you be sure? Because killing you serves no purpose. You're already testifying. Your statement is already recorded. Killing you now would just bring more heat on them. Nathan's voice was logical, rational. This is intimidation. They're trying to scare you into recanting. It's working. Nathan took her hand. Emily, look at me. She did. His eyes were intense, focused entirely on her. I am not going to let anything happen to you, Nathan said. Do you understand me? The Volkovs want a war. I'll give them a war, but you are not going to be a casualty. Emily wanted to believe him, but the photo on her phone felt like a promise. The Volkovs had found her once. They could find her again. The SUV pulled into an underground garage Emily didn't recognize. Victor led them through a series of security checkpoints. Retinal scanners, keypad locks, guards with automatic weapons. Emily felt like she'd stepped into a spy movie. They took an elevator down 3 floors below street level. The doors opened onto a bunker. There was no other word for it. Reinforced concrete walls, multiple monitors showing security feeds, weapons mounted on the walls, a full kitchen, bedroom, bathroom. Everything someone would need to survive a siege. What is this place? Emily asked. Safe house, Victor said. Built during the Cold War, updated last year. The Volkovs could drop a bomb on the building above us, and we'd be fine down here. Emily sank onto a couch that looked military grade. How long do I have to stay here? Until we neutralize the threat, Nathan said. He was already on his phone making calls in rapid succession. Rachel's filing for an emergency protective order. Agent Reeves is coordinating with FBI cybercrimes to trace the text. And I'm calling in some favors. What kind of favors? Nathan's smile was sharp. The kind that make problems disappear. Victor's phone rang. He answered, listened, then hung up looking troubled. Sir, we have a situation. Someone accessed the Blackwell Holdings employee database 30 minutes ago. They pulled Emily's file. Emily's blood ran cold. Who? We're still tracing it, but... Victor hesitated. It came from inside the building, from an executive-level terminal. The mole, Nathan said quietly. They're still active. It gets worse, Victor continued. They also pulled files on 17 other employees, all women, all in finance, all matching Emily's profile. Emily felt sick. They're looking for their next victim. Or they're trying to figure out who else might testify against them, Nathan said. His expression was thunderous. Victor locked down the entire employee database. Nobody accesses anything without my personal approval. And I want IT to run a complete audit of every executive terminal. Someone in my company is working for the Volkovs, and I want them found yesterday. Already on it, Victor said, typing rapidly on his phone. Emily's phone buzzed again. Another photo. This time it showed Nathan's penthouse, the exact window of the guest room she'd been staying in. The message, we know where she sleeps. Nathan saw it and went very still, the kind of still that preceded violence. They've been watching the building, Nathan said quietly. They know she's been staying with me. Which means they know about the safe house too, Victor said grimly. Sir, we need to move. Now. Move where? Emily asked. If they found the penthouse, if they found this place, then we go somewhere they'd never think to look, Nathan said. He was already texting someone. Victor, get the helicopter ready. Helicopter? Emily's voice pitched high. We're flying somewhere. Not just somewhere. Nathan looked at her. We're going dark, completely off grid. No phones, no credit cards, no digital trail. They want to find you. They can try. Emily's heart was hammering. For how long? As long as it takes to dismantle their organization, Nathan said. A few days, maybe a week. I can't just disappear for a week. You can and you will. Nathan's tone left no room for argument. Emily, they threatened you. They photographed my home. This isn't a game anymore. This is survival. Victor appeared with 2 duffel bags, passports, cash clean, phones, clothes, everything you need. Nathan took both bags. Let's move. They rode the elevator back up to the garage where a different vehicle waited, a nondescript gray sedan that looked like it belonged to a suburban dad, not a billionaire CEO. Nathan drove himself, Victor riding shotgun Emily in the back. They drove for 20 minutes through the city, taking random turns, doubling back, making sure they weren't followed. Emily watched the streets pass by, wondering if she'd ever feel safe in this city again. The helicopter waited on a private pad outside the city limits. It was sleek and black and looked expensive. Nathan helped Emily aboard, then climbed in beside her. Victor stayed on the ground. You're not coming, Emily asked Victor. Someone needs to run the hunt from here, Victor said. Don't worry, Ms. Carter. We'll find them. The helicopter lifted off and Emily watched the city shrink below them. She'd lived here for 8 years, built her career here, lost everything here, and now she was fleeing like a criminal. Where are we going? Emily asked over the headset. Upstate, Nathan said. I have a property, very private, very secure. The Volkovs won't find it. How can you be sure? Because it's not in my name. It's not in any database. It doesn't officially exist. Nathan looked at her. It's where I go when I need to disappear. They flew for 90 minutes over forests and mountains. Finally, the helicopter descended toward a clearing. Emily saw a house near a compound. Multiple buildings connected by covered walkways surrounded by tall fences and what looked like guard towers. This is yours, Emily asked. This is ours, for now. Nathan helped her out of the helicopter. Welcome to the safest place in America. The main house was beautiful modern architecture, floor-to-ceiling windows, furniture that looked comfortable rather than expensive. But Emily could see the security measures. Cameras, motion sensors, reinforced doors. Nathan showed her to a bedroom. Get some rest. We'll be safe here. Nathan, wait. Emily caught his arm. What you said earlier about going to war with the Volkovs. You can't do that. Not for me. Why not? Because I'm not worth it. I'm nobody, an analyst who got caught up in something way over her head. You shouldn't risk everything for me. Nathan turned to face her fully. Emily Carter listened very carefully. You are not nobody. You are someone who survived an abusive relationship. Someone who lived in her car and kept fighting. Someone who faced down her abuser in a federal holding cell and didn't break. You are extraordinary. And yes, you are absolutely worth going to war for. Emily felt tears building. But your company will survive. It always does. Nathan stepped closer. But you, I'm not taking chances with you. Not anymore. Why do you care so much? Emily whispered. You barely know me. Nathan was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was raw with old pain. Because my sister Jessica called me 3 years ago. She said her boyfriend was stealing from her. I told her to go to the police. I told her it was a civil matter that I couldn't get involved. I chose to protect my company's reputation over protecting her. Nathan's jaw clenched. She killed herself 2 days later, and I've spent every day since wondering what would have happened if I'd just helped her, if I'd believed her the first time she asked. Emily's heart broke for him. Nathan. So yes, Emily, I care, because I'm not making that mistake again. Because you asked for help, and I'm giving it. No conditions, no hesitation, just help. Nathan's eyes met hers. And maybe because somewhere in all this chaos, I started seeing you as more than just an employee. The confession hung between them, electric and dangerous. Emily's phone buzzed. The new phone Victor had given them. The one that was supposed to be clean and untraceable. Nathan's expression shifted instantly. That shouldn't be ringing. Nobody has this number. Emily looked at the screen. Unknown caller, she answered on speaker. Emily Carter, a voice said. Male, accented, Russian. You are very difficult to find. Emily's blood turned to ice. Who is this? My name is Dmitry Volkov, and I believe you have something that belongs to me. Nathan grabbed the phone. This is Nathan Blackwell. Whatever you think Emily has, you're wrong. Am I? Dimitri's voice was smooth amused. Ryan Mercer was my employee. His failure to access your systems was expensive. I simply want compensation for my losses. You want compensation? Sue me. Nathan's voice was ice cold. Oh, wait, you can't, because you're a criminal, and this entire operation is illegal. Dmitri laughed. Mr. Blackwell, I admire your spirit, but you are out of your depth. This is not the corporate world where lawyers and contracts rule. This is my world, and in my world, debts are paid in blood. Then you'll be disappointed, Nathan said, because Emily's not paying anything. We shall see. Dmitri paused. I know where you are, Mr. Blackwell. Your little compound, upstate, the one you think doesn't exist. We've known about it for months. Emily felt the floor drop out from under her. You're bluffing, Nathan said, but his voice had lost some of its certainty. Am I? Let me prove it. Look out your window, the north one overlooking the forest. Nathan walked to the window, Emily following. They looked out into the trees. At first, Emily saw nothing. Then movement caught her eye, a figure in the tree line, then another, then 3 more. We have your compound surrounded, Dmitri said pleasantly. 20 men, all armed, all very, very good at what they do. So here is my offer, Mr. Blackwell. You give me Emily Carter. I take her somewhere private. She tells me everything she told the FBI. And if I believe she hasn't said anything too damaging, I let her live. Never, Nathan said. Then she dies, along with you and anyone else in that building. I have no preference either way, but decide quickly. My men grow impatient. The call disconnected. Nathan immediately grabbed his phone. Victor, we have a situation. The compound's been compromised. We have hostiles in the tree line. He stopped. Victor, Nathan pulled the phone away from his ear. No signal. They're jamming us, Nathan said quietly. We're cut off. Emily heard a sound outside. Footsteps on gravel, many footsteps. The Volkovs were coming, and they were trapped. Nathan grabbed Emily's wrist and pulled her away from the window. His other hand was already moving to a panel on the wall, pressing his palm against what looked like ordinary wood. The panel slid open, revealing a keypad. How many people know about this place? Emily asked, her voice shaking. 3. Me, Victor, and the architect who designed it. Nathan punched in a code. And the architect died in a car accident 6 months ago. Emily's stomach dropped. You think the Volkovs? I don't think anything right now except that we need to survive the next 10 minutes. The wall behind the panel slid open, revealing an arsenal that would make a military unit jealous. Nathan pulled out 2 handguns, checked the magazines, then handed one to Emily. Do you know how to use this? I took a class once, years ago. Safety's here. Point and shoot. Don't hesitate. Nathan grabbed what looked like a tablet from a shelf. The compound has a secondary communication system. Hardwired, can't be jammed. I'm sending an SOS to Victor. He typed rapidly. Emily watched the figures in the tree line moving closer, spreading out to surround the house. 20 armed men. She and Nathan had 2 guns and nowhere to run. Nathan, we can't fight 20 people. We don't have to fight them. We just have to survive until Victor gets here. Nathan hit send on the message. Response time is 45 minutes by helicopter, 30 if he pushes it. 30 minutes, Emily's voice pitched high. They'll be inside in 5 minutes. Then we make those 5 minutes count. Nathan pulled out another device, this one looking like a remote control. This place has more defenses than you think, trust me. A crash echoed from the downstairs. Glass breaking. Someone had breached the first floor. Nathan pressed a button on the remote. Emily heard a loud click, then the sound of metal sliding against metal. Reinforced shutters on all windows and doors. They'll hold for maybe 10 minutes. Then what? Then we move to plan B. Nathan grabbed her hand. Come with me, now. They ran down the hallway, footsteps pounding on hardwood. Behind them, Emily heard shouting in Russian. Then gunfire. Bullets punched through the reinforced shutters, splintering wood. Nathan yanked open a closet door and pulled Emily inside. He pressed another panel, and the back wall of the closet swung open into darkness. Secret passage, Emily asked. Panic room. Get in. They stumbled into a space about the size of a bedroom. Nathan pulled the door shut behind them and locked it with a heavy bolt. Emergency lights flickered on, revealing concrete walls, shelves stocked with supplies, and a bank of monitors showing security feeds from around the compound. Emily watched the screens as armed men swarmed the house. They moved with military precision, checking corners, communicating with hand signals. These weren't street thugs. These were professionals. Nathan, who are these people? Volkov's private army, ex-military, mostly Russian, Spetsnaz. Nathan was typing on another keyboard, bringing up more camera feeds. They've done this before. Assault, extraction, elimination. They're very good at their jobs. That's not comforting. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be honest. Nathan pulled up a different screen showing a timer. Victor got the message. ETA at 28 minutes. On the monitors, Emily watched the men spread through the house. They were searching room by room, destroying everything in their path. One of them stopped in front of a painting in the hallway, studied it, then ripped it off the wall. They're looking for the panic room, Nathan said quietly. Will they find it? Eventually. The question is whether they find it before Victor arrives. Nathan checked his gun. Emily, I need you to understand something. If they breach this room before help arrives, I want you to run. Run where we're trapped. There's a tunnel leads out to the forest about half a mile from here. Nathan pointed to a door on the far side of the panic room. If they get in, you take that tunnel and you run. Don't look back. Don't wait for me. Just run. I'm not leaving you. Yes, you are. Nathan's voice was firm. Because one of us needs to survive this, and it's going to be you. Emily felt tears burning her eyes. Nathan! A massive boom shook the panic room. The monitors flickered. Emily saw on the screens that the men had brought in some kind of battering ram and were attacking the main door. They're trying to force their way into the bedroom, Nathan said. They know we're in here somewhere. Another boom. The reinforced shutters on the bedroom windows cracked. Emily's hands were shaking so badly she nearly dropped her gun. I can't do this. I can't. Yes, you can. Nathan took her face in his hands, forcing her to look at him. Emily Carter, you are the strongest person I know. You survived Ryan. You survived being homeless. You survived starvation. You can survive this. Not without you. Nathan's expression softened. You won't have to, but if it comes down to it, I need to know you'll keep fighting. Before Emily could respond, one of the monitors went black. Then another. The men were destroying the cameras. They're getting smarter, Nathan muttered. They don't want us seeing their positions. Only 3 cameras remained active. Emily watched as 5 men gathered outside the bedroom, setting up what looked like plastic explosives on the door. "They're going to blow it," Emily whispered. "Looks like it." Nathan checked the timer. 24 minutes until Victor arrives. "We don't have 24 minutes. Then we improvise. Nathan moved to a different panel, opening it to reveal more controls. This panic room was designed to be completely self-sufficient. Air filtration, water supply, emergency medical equipment. It can also be defended. What does that mean? Nathan pressed a series of buttons. On the remaining monitors, Emily saw small vents open in the bedroom ceiling. A hissing sound started. "Tear gas," Nathan said. "Not lethal, but extremely unpleasant. It'll buy us a few minutes." On screen, the men in the bedroom started coughing, stumbling back. One of them barked orders in Russian, and they retreated to the hallway. "They'll bring gas masks," Emily said. "Probably. But gas masks slow them down, make it harder to see clearly, harder to shoot accurately." Nathan was already preparing the next defense. "We just need to slow them down long enough for..." The tablet on the table buzzed. Nathan grabbed it, read the message, and his face went white. "What?" Emily asked. "What is it?" Victor's helicopter was sabotaged. Engine failure. He had to make an emergency landing. Nathan's voice was hollow. "He's okay, but he can't get to us. He's sending backup, but they're coming from the city. ETA 60 minutes. An hour." Emily felt panic clawing up her throat. "Nathan, we don't have an hour." "I know." Nathan set down the tablet and turned to face her. "Which means we use the tunnel, both of us, right now." "But you said..." "Plans change. Come on." Nathan grabbed the duffel bags Victor had prepared, slinging one over his shoulder and handing the other to Emily. "We move fast and quiet. The tunnel exits near the north tree line. If we're lucky, we can slip past their perimeter before they realize we're gone. And if we're not lucky, then we fight our way out." Nathan unlocked the door leading to the tunnel. Cool air rushed in, smelling of earth and dampness. Emily could see stairs leading down into darkness. An explosion rocked the panic room. The men had detonated the charges on the bedroom door. "Go," Nathan shouted. "Now!" Emily ran down the stairs, Nathan right behind her. He slammed the tunnel door shut and locked it from the inside. The stairway was narrow, barely wide enough for one person. Emergency lights lined the walls every 10 feet, casting everything in a sickly yellow glow. They reached the bottom and started running. The tunnel stretched ahead, seemingly endless. Emily's lungs burned, her legs screamed, but she kept running because stopping meant dying. Behind them, she heard another explosion. The men had found the panic room. They were in. "How far?" Emily gasped. "Quarter mile, keep moving." The tunnel began to slope upward. Emily's thighs burned with the effort. She could hear shouting behind them, echoing through the tunnel. The men had found the entrance. They were following. "They're coming," Emily panted. "I know, don't stop." The tunnel ended at another door. Nathan yanked it open and they stumbled out into the forest. Trees surrounded them on all sides. Morning sunlight filtered through the canopy. Nathan pulled out a compass. "East, we head east toward the main road. 2 miles. 2 miles. Emily could barely breathe. I can't." Gunfire erupted behind them. Bullets chewed through the tunnel entrance, sending splinters of wood flying. "You can!" Nathan grabbed her hand. "Run!" They crashed through the underbrush branches, tearing at their clothes. Emily could hear men shouting, dogs barking. The Volkovs had brought dogs. "They're tracking us," Emily said. "I know. Keep moving." They ran for what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes. Emily's side cramped, her vision blurred. She stumbled over a root and nearly fell, but Nathan caught her. "I can't," Emily sobbed. "I can't keep going." "Yes, you can. Look at me." Nathan's face was fierce. "We are not dying in these woods, Emily. We are not giving Dmitry Volkov the satisfaction. We keep fighting." A dog barked closer now. Too close. Nathan pulled Emily behind a fallen tree. "They're going to find us in the next 2 minutes. When they do, I need you to do exactly what I say. Understand?" Emily nodded, too terrified to speak. Nathan checked his gun. "I'm going to draw their fire. When I do, you run. Straight east. Don't stop until you reach the road." "Nathan, no." "This isn't a discussion." Nathan's eyes were hard. "You run. You flag down a car. You get to safety. And you make sure Ryan and Dmitry and every other bastard who hurt you pays for what they did." I won't leave you. You will. Nathan kissed her forehead, quick and desperate. Because someone needs to survive this, and it has to be you. Before Emily could protest, Nathan stood up and fired 3 shots into the air. The forest exploded with gunfire. Nathan shoved Emily away from him. Run now, Emily ran. Tears streamed down her face, but she ran. Behind her, she heard Nathan firing, heard men shouting, heard dogs snarling. She wanted to turn back, wanted to help him, but her legs kept moving, carrying her deeper into the forest. A bullet whizzed past her head. They were shooting at her now. Emily zigzagged between trees, making herself a harder target. Her lungs felt like they were on fire. Her vision tunneled. She broke through the tree line and stumbled onto a dirt road. Empty. No cars. Nothing. Emily heard footsteps behind her. She turned, raising her gun with shaking hands. A man emerged from the trees. Not Nathan, one of Volkov's men. He raised his weapon. Emily pulled the trigger. The gun clicked. Empty. She'd forgotten to count her shots. Amateur mistake. Fatal mistake. The man smiled and took aim. Then his head snapped back and he crumpled to the ground. Emily spun around. A black SUV screeched to a halt on the road. Victor jumped out, rifle in hand. Miss Carter, where's Nathan? Emily pointed back toward the forest, her hand shaking. He stayed behind. Drew their fire so I could escape. Victor, there are at least 10 men. Victor was already moving, barking orders into his radio. More vehicles appeared, SUVs, trucks, and all full of armed men. Victor's backup had arrived. Get into the vehicle, Victor ordered Emily. Stay down. Do not leave for any reason. But Nathan, I'll get him. I promise. Victor's expression was grim. But I need you safe first. He pushed Emily into the SUV and slammed the door. The driver immediately took off, speeding down the dirt road. Emily watched through the back window as Victor and his team disappeared into the forest, heading toward the sound of gunfire. Emily's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She'd left Nathan. She'd run like he told her to, and now he was back there, alone, surrounded by armed men who wanted him dead. The SUV drove for 10 minutes before pulling into what looked like a ranger station. But the rangers were all Victor's people, all unarmed, all watching the perimeter with military precision. A woman approached the SUV. Ms. Carter, I'm Dr. Sarah Morrison. I need to check you for injuries. Emily let the doctor examine her. Cuts and bruises, nothing serious. But Emily barely felt any of it. All she could think about was Nathan. How long until we know if he's okay? Emily asked. Dr. Morrison's expression was sympathetic. Victor's team is the best. If anyone can extract Mr. Blackwell safely, it's them. That's not an answer. I know. Dr. Morrison squeezed Emily's hand. But it's the only one I have right now. Emily sat in the ranger station surrounded by armed guards waiting for news. Minutes crawled by like hours. Every time a radio crackled, Emily's heart jumped. But it was never about Nathan. 30 minutes passed, then 45. Emily's phone, the clean one from Victor, rang. Unknown number. Her hands shook as she answered. Hello, Ms. Carter. Dmitry Volkov's voice was smooth as silk. I believe we need to renegotiate our arrangement. Where's Nathan? Emily demanded. Safe. For now. Injured, but alive. Dmitry paused. He fought quite bravely, actually. Took down 3 of my men before we subdued him. I'm almost impressed. Emily's blood ran cold. If you hurt him, you'll what? Call the police, the FBI. They're already on their way, Ms. Carter. But they won't arrive in time. Dmitry's voice hardened. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to come back to the compound. Alone, unarmed, and you're going to trade yourself for Nathan Blackwell. No. One of Victor's men tried to take the phone. Emily jerked away. I'm listening. Smart girl. You have 1 hour. If you're not here, I start cutting pieces off your boyfriend and sending them to you. Starting with fingers, then toes, then more important parts. Dmitry sounded almost bored. And Ms. Carter, if Victor's people follow you, if I see any sign of backup, Nathan dies immediately. Do we understand each other? I understand. Good. 1 hour. Come alone. The call disconnected. Emily stood up, her mind racing. Victor's man immediately grabbed her arm. You're not seriously considering this, he said. It's a trap. Volkov will kill you both. Maybe, but if I don't go, Nathan dies for sure. Emily pulled her arm free. I need to talk to Victor. Victor's in the field. Then get him on the radio, now. The man hesitated, then spoke into his radio. A moment later, Victor's voice crackled through tense and strained. Ms. Carter, what's wrong? Emily explained Dimitri's call. The ultimatum, the 1-hour deadline. Victor was silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was carefully controlled. Ms. Carter, I cannot allow you to walk into a hostage situation. It goes against every protocol. I don't care about your protocols, Emily's voice cracked. Nathan risked everything for me. He stayed behind so I could escape. I'm not abandoning him now. If you go back there, you'll both die. Then we die together. Emily took a breath, steadying herself. Victor, I know you have orders to protect me, but I'm not your prisoner. I'm making a choice, and I choose to save Nathan. He'd never forgive me if I let you do this. He doesn't have to forgive you. He just has to survive. Emily's voice was firm now, certain. Victor, please, tell me how to get back to the compound. Victor sighed heavily. You're sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything. Then you'll need backup whether you want it or not. Volkov said come alone and you will, but my team will be in position. The second we have an opening, we extract you both. What if there's no opening? Then we make one. Victor's voice hardened. Ms. Carter, Nathan Blackwell is more than my boss. He's my friend. I'm not letting either of you die today. Understood. Understood. Good. One of my men will drive you to a drop point 1/2 mile from the compound. From there, you walk in alone. We'll be watching. The moment things go sideways, we move. Thank you, Victor. Don't thank me yet. We still have to survive the next hour. 20 minutes later, Emily was in a different SUV, driving back toward the compound. The man driving Martinez, according to his name tag, didn't speak. Just drove with grim determination. They stopped at a clearing. Martinez handed Emily a small device that looked like a button. Panic button, he said. You press it, we come running. Don't use it unless you absolutely have to. It'll alert Volkov's men to our presence. But if things go bad, press it. Emily slipped the button into her pocket. How will I know when things go bad? Martinez's expression was dark. You'll know. Emily got out of the SUV and started walking. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. No birds, no wind, just silence and her own footsteps crunching on dead leaves. The compound appeared ahead. The main house was damaged from the assault, broken windows, scorched walls, the front door hanging off its hinges. Men with rifles stood guard at every entrance. Emily raised her hands as she approached. I'm here to see Dmitry Volkov. He's expecting me. One of the guards spoke into a radio. A moment later, Dmitry himself appeared in the doorway. He was tall, well-dressed, with the kind of face that would be handsome if it weren't so cold. Ms. Carter, right on time. I appreciate punctuality. Dmitry gestured inside. Please come in. Emily walked into the house, her heart hammering. The interior was destroyed, furniture, overturned walls, pockmarked with bullet holes, blood on the floor. Where's Nathan? Emily demanded. Eager, aren't we? Dmitry smiled. He's downstairs, alive as promised, injured but nothing fatal yet. I want to see him. Of course, but first we need to discuss terms. Dmitry walked to the kitchen, pouring himself a drink like they were having a casual business meeting. You're here to trade yourself for Nathan Blackwell. Admirable but foolish. What makes you think I won't just kill you both? Because you want something from me, Emily said, fighting to keep her voice steady. Otherwise, you would have killed Nathan already. Dmitry raised his glass in a mock toast. Smart and brave. I see why Nathan likes you. Yes, I want something. Your testimony. The FBI thinks you can help them build a RICO case against my organization. I need to know exactly what you told them. And if I tell you, then I let Nathan go. You stay with me until I'm satisfied you're not a threat, then I let you go too. You're lying. Probably. Dmitry's smile widened. But what choice do you have? Tell me what I want to know or watch Nathan die slowly. Those are your options. Emily's mind raced. She needed to stall, needed to give Victor time to get his team in position. Fine, Emily said. I'll tell you everything. But I see Nathan first. I need to know he's really alive. Dmitry studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded. Fair enough. Follow me. He led Emily downstairs into what looked like a wine cellar, but the wine was gone, replaced by improvised prison cell. And in that cell, chained to a support beam, was Nathan. He looked terrible. Blood matted his hair. His shirt was torn and stained. But his eyes were alert, and when he saw Emily, they went wide with horror. "Emily, no," Nathan said hoarsely. "What the hell are you doing here?" "Saving you." Emily turned to Dimitri. "Let him go. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Just let him go." "Emily, don't," Nathan started. Dimitri backhanded Nathan across the face. Emily flinched as Nathan's head snapped to the side. "No more talking from you," Dimitri said pleasantly. "Ms. Carter has the floor." Emily felt rage burning through her fear, but she forced herself to stay calm, to think. "What do you want to know?" she asked. "Everything you told the FBI, every name you mentioned, every piece of evidence you provided." Dimitri pulled out a knife, testing the edge with his thumb. "And Ms. Carter, if you're lying to me, Nathan loses a finger. If you refuse to answer, he loses an ear. If you try anything clever, he loses his life. Are we clear?" Emily looked at Nathan. His eyes were fierce, telling her not to do this. But Emily had made her choice. "We're clear," she said. "I'll tell you everything." And as she started talking, her hand slipped into her pocket, fingers closing around the panic button Victor had given her. Just a few more minutes. She just needed to keep them both alive a few more minutes. Then all hell was going to break loose. Emily began talking, her voice steady despite the terror clawing at her throat. She told Dimitri about her first meeting with Agent Reeves, carefully leaving out details that mattered while making it sound complete. She described the federal holding facility, the interview room, the questions they'd asked. "They wanted to know about Ryan's connections," Emily said. "Who he worked for, who he reported to. I told them I didn't know." Dimitri's eyes narrowed. "And they believed you." "I don't think so, but it's the truth. Ryan never told me anything about his work." Emily watched Dimitri's hand on the knife. He kept that part of his life completely separate. "What about financial records, bank transfers? Did you give them access to anything?" "I gave them my own records. The accounts Ryan drained, the credit cards he opened in my name." Emily's fingers tightened around the panic button in her pocket. "But that only showed what he stole from me, not where the money went." Nathan made a sound, half warning, half plea. Emily refused to look at him. If she looked at him now, she'd lose her nerve. "The FBI traced the money," Dimitri said, moving closer. "They found offshore accounts, dummy corporations. They're building a paper trail that leads directly to my organization." "I didn't help them with that. I don't know anything about offshore accounts." Dimitri studied her face. "You're telling the truth. Interesting." He turned to Nathan. "Your girlfriend is either genuinely ignorant or an exceptional liar. Which is it, Mr. Blackwell?" Nathan spat blood. "She's telling the truth. Emily didn't know anything about your operation. That's why Ryan failed. She was useless to you." "Perhaps." Dimitri turned back to Emily. "But she's quite useful now. The FBI will trade a great deal for a witness they believe can testify against me. Even a witness who knows nothing." Emily's heart sank. "You're going to use me as leverage." "Smart girl, yes. I'll contact the FBI, offer a trade. You for immunity. They'll refuse, of course. The Bureau doesn't negotiate with terrorists, but the media attention will be delicious. Billionaire CEO and innocent woman held hostage by Russian mob. It'll tie up federal resources for weeks while they try to find you. And then you'll kill us anyway," Nathan said flatly. "Probably, but I'll be in Moscow by then, so it won't be my problem." Dimitri smiled. "You see, this whole operation was already compromised the moment Ryan was arrested. I'm simply cutting my losses and causing maximum chaos on my way out." Emily's mind raced. Dimitri was planning to leave the country, which meant he'd kill them as soon as he secured his escape route. She needed to press the panic button now before the lights went out. Everything plunged into darkness. Emily heard Dimitri curse in Russian. Above them, men were shouting. "What the hell?" Dimitri started. Gunfire erupted upstairs. Not the scattered shots from before. This was a coordinated assault. Victor had made his move. Emily's hand closed around the panic button, but before she could press it, someone grabbed her arm in the darkness. She tried to scream, but a hand clamped over her mouth. "It's me," Nathan's voice whispered in her ear. "Don't make a sound." Emily's heart hammered. How had Nathan gotten free the chains? "Picked the lock 5 minutes ago," Nathan breathed. "Been waiting for the right moment. Come on." He pulled her toward where she remembered the stairs being. Emily stumbled in the darkness, her hands outstretched. Behind them, she heard Dimitri shouting orders, heard his men responding. They reached the stairs. Nathan pulled Emily up, moving fast despite his injuries. The gunfire upstairs was deafening now. Explosions, screaming. The building shook. They emerged into chaos. Victor's team had breached from multiple points simultaneously. Men in tactical gear were everywhere, engaging Volkov's forces in close-quarters combat. Smoke filled the air. Muzzle flashes lit the darkness like lightning. This way. Nathan pulled Emily toward what used to be the kitchen. They ducked behind an overturned table as bullets tore through the air above them. "Nathan, you're bleeding." Emily saw fresh blood soaking through his shirt. "I'm fine, we need to—" Nathan stopped, his eyes going wide. "Get down." He shoved Emily flat as a grenade sailed over their heads. It exploded in the next room, the concussion waves slamming into them like a physical force. Emily's ears rang. She couldn't hear anything except a high-pitched whine. Nathan was shouting something, his mouth moving, but Emily couldn't make out the words. He pulled her to her feet and they ran toward a broken window. They'd almost reached it when Dimitri appeared, blocking their path. His expensive suit was torn and bloody. His face was a mask of rage. "You think you can escape?" Dimitri raised his gun. "You think Victor's people can save you? You're both dead." A shot rang out. Dimitri stumbled, looking down at the red blooms spreading across his chest. He turned and Emily saw Victor standing in the doorway, rifle raised. "Federal agents outside Volkov," Victor said calmly. "Surrender or die. Your choice." Dimitri laughed, blood bubbling at his lips. "You think this is over? This is just one branch of the organization. There are dozens more. Hundreds. You can't stop." Another shot. Dimitri crumpled to the floor. Victor lowered his rifle and ran to Nathan and Emily. "Sir, are you hit?" "Couple of cracked ribs, maybe a concussion. Nothing critical." Nathan was already moving toward the window. "We need to get Emily out of here, now." "Already arranged. Helicopters landing in 30 seconds. Victor handed Nathan a radio. "FBI sweeping the compound. They've arrested 12 of Volkov's men. The rest are dead or fled." Emily heard the helicopter before she saw it, rotors thundering as it descended toward the clearing. Victor's team created a protective corridor, and they ran for it, boots pounding against dirt. They were 10 feet from the helicopter when Emily heard a shout behind them. She turned and saw one of Volkov's men emerging from the tree line, weapon raised. Time slowed. Emily saw the gun barrel swinging toward Nathan. Saw Nathan turning too slow, still injured. Saw the man's finger tightening on the trigger. Emily moved without thinking. She threw herself at Nathan, knocking him sideways just as the gun fired. The bullet meant for Nathan's chest slammed into Emily's shoulder instead. The impact spun her around. She hit the ground hard, pain exploding through her body like white fire. She heard Nathan screaming her name, heard more gunfire. Then strong arms lifted her, and she was in the helicopter. Nathan's face above her, his hands pressing against her shoulder. "Stay with me," Nathan was saying, his voice breaking. "Emily, stay with me. Don't you dare die on me now." "Did I get you?" Emily asked. Her voice sounded strange, distant. "What? Out of the way. Did I get you out of the way?" Nathan's face crumpled. Yes, you got me. You saved my life, you crazy." His voice broke. "Why did you do that?" "Because someone needed to catch you for once." Emily tried to smile, but everything was getting fuzzy around the edges. "Fair's fair." "Emily, no. Stay awake. Look at me." Nathan's hands were covered in her blood. "Doc, I need a medic now." Dr. Morrison appeared, her face grim but focused. "Lay her flat. I need to stop the bleeding." Emily felt her hands working on her shoulder, felt pain that made her scream. Nathan held her hand, his grip crushing. "I'm sorry," Emily gasped. "I'm so sorry." "For what? For saving my life." Nathan's voice was fierce. "Don't you dare apologize. Don't you dare. For dragging you into this. For Ryan, for the Volkovs, for all of it." Emily's vision was darkening at the edges. "You almost died because of me. I almost died protecting you. There's a difference." Nathan leaned close, his forehead touching hers. "And I'd do it again. Every time. Do you understand me every single time?" Emily wanted to respond, wanted to tell him she understood, but the darkness was pulling her under. The last thing she heard was Nathan's voice, desperate and broken, begging her to stay. Emily woke to the sound of machines beeping. She blinked against harsh fluorescent lights, her shoulder throbbing with a deep, bone-aching pain. A hospital room, white walls, the smell of antiseptic. You're awake. Emily turned her head slowly, everything hurt, and saw Nathan sitting beside her bed. He looked terrible. Both eyes were black, stitches crossed his left eyebrow. His arm was in a sling. How long? Emily's voice came out as a croak. 18 hours. You lost a lot of blood. The bullet nicked an artery. Nathan's hand found hers, careful of the IV line. The doctor said if we'd been 5 minutes further from the hospital, you wouldn't have made it. Emily processed that. She'd almost died. Should have died probably, but she hadn't. The Volkovs, she asked. Dimitri's dead. Victor killed him. The FBI arrested everyone at the compound who survived. They're rolling on each other, giving up names and locations. The entire North American operation is collapsing. Nathan's smile was grim. It's over, Emily. Really over. And Ryan, cooperating with federal prosecutors in exchange for a reduced sentence, 20 years instead of life. He's going to spend the next 2 decades in a federal prison telling them everything he knows about the Volkov organization. Emily closed her eyes. 20 years. It should feel like victory. Instead, she just felt tired. Hey, Nathan squeezed her hand gently. What are you thinking? That I should feel relieved, happy, something. Emily opened her eyes. But I just feel empty. That's normal. Trauma doesn't disappear just because the threat is gone. Nathan shifted in his chair, wincing. I've been talking to Dr. Morrison. She recommended a therapist, someone who specializes in abuse recovery and PTSD. You think I have PTSD? I think you survived something terrible and you're going to need help processing it. Nathan's voice was gentle. And before you say you can't afford it, therapy's covered. Part of your employment benefits package. Emily almost laughed. You created a benefits package that covers therapy for employees who get caught up in Russian mob conspiracies. I created a benefits package that covers mental health care. Period. What you went through, what we both went through that requires professional help. Emily studied Nathan's face. The bruises, the stitches, the exhaustion in his eyes. You're going too, aren't you, to therapy? First appointment is next week. Nathan smiled ruefully. Turns out getting tortured by Russian mobsters is traumatic. Who knew? This time Emily did laugh, even though it hurt her shoulder. We're a mess. We're survivors. Nathan's expression turned serious. Emily, there was something I need to say. What you did throwing yourself in front of that bullet, that was the bravest and stupidest thing I've ever seen. Which one are you mad about? Both, neither. I don't know. Nathan ran his free hand through his hair. You could have died, you almost did die, and the thought of losing you. His voice broke. I can't lose anyone else, not you, not after Jessica. Emily's heart ached for him. Nathan, I know we haven't known each other long. I know this whole situation has been insane and traumatic and completely inappropriate for developing feelings. Nathan looked directly at her, but I'm developing them anyway. Feelings, for you. And I need you to know that before you decide what happens next. Emily's breath caught. What happens next? You recover. You heal. You decide whether you want to stay at Blackwell Holdings or start fresh somewhere else. You decide whether you want to keep living in the corporate apartment or find your own place. You decide. Nathan paused. You decide whether you want to explore whatever this is between us or whether you need space to figure out who you are without someone trying to save you. The careful way he said it, the way he was giving her all the choices, made Emily's eyes burn with tears. I don't need saving anymore, Emily said quietly. But I think I'd like someone to stand beside me while I figure out who I am now, after everything. Nathan's face transformed, hope lighting his features. I can do that, standing beside you. No saving, just being there. Can you do one more thing? Anything. Can you tell me this is real? Emily's voice wavered. That you're not just feeling responsible for me, that this isn't guilt over your sister. Nathan stood, carefully moving to sit on the edge of her hospital bed. Emily Carter, what I feel for you has nothing to do with guilt and everything to do with the fact that you're the strongest, bravest, most stubborn person I've ever met. You faced down your abuser. You testified against the mob. You took a bullet meant for me. And through all of it, you never stopped fighting. That's not guilt talking. He stopped searching for words. That's me realizing I found someone worth fighting for. Emily reached up with her good hand touching his bruised face. I'm broken, Nathan. Ryan broke me. The Volkovs broke me more. I don't know how long it'll take to put myself back together. Then I'll wait. Nathan's hand covered hers. However long it takes. And if you need me to wait at a distance, I'll do that too. But if you'll let me, I'd like to be there while you heal. Not fixing you, not saving you, just being present. Emily pulled him down gently, mindful of both their injuries, and kissed him. It was soft and careful and tasted like hope. When they broke apart, Nathan was smiling. Really smiling, not the grim expression he'd worn since the compound. So what happens now? Emily asked. Now you rest. Doctor's orders. You're off work for 6 weeks minimum. 6 weeks. You were shot, Emily. That requires recovery time. Nathan's tone was firm. And when you do come back, it's part-time, light duty, no 60-hour weeks. What about the presentation, the quarterly analysis? Robert finished it using your notes. The board approved it unanimously. You did good work, Emily. Even half-starved and living in your car, you did exceptional work. Emily felt tears slipping down her cheeks. I thought I'd lost everything. My job, my reputation, my future. You lost money and possessions. You never lost yourself. Nathan wiped her tears gently. And now you're getting it all back. Your savings are being recovered from Ryan's counts. Your credit is being repaired. The FBI seized enough Volkov assets to compensate you for everything Ryan stole and then some. How much is and then some? Nathan's smile turned mischievous. Enough that you'll never have to worry about rent again, or car payments, or anything else. Emily processed that. She'd gone from negative $400 to financially secure in a matter of weeks. It didn't feel real. There's something else, Nathan said. The board wants to offer you a new position, Chief Financial Strategy Advisor. It's a VP-level role, your own team, significant pay increase. And before you say anything, this isn't charity. This is recognition for the work you've done and the potential they see in you. Nathan, I can't. Yes, you can. You've earned it. Nathan squeezed her hand. But if you need time to think about it, the offer stands. No pressure, no deadline. Emily looked at him, this man who'd caught her when she fell, who'd protected her from monsters who'd nearly died defending her. This man who was offering her everything she'd lost and more, but giving her the freedom to choose. I want to accept, Emily said, but I need to do it right. I need to prove I deserve it. You already have, but I understand the need to prove it to yourself. Nathan nodded. So here's what we'll do. You recover, you go to therapy, you figure out who Emily Carter is when she's not in survival mode. And when you're ready, when you're really ready, you come back and show them what you can do. And us, Emily asked, what do we do about us? We take it slow. We figure it out as we go. We make mistakes and learn from them. And Nathan's expression turned serious. But Emily, I need you to promise me something. If this gets to be too much, if you need space, if you wake up one day and realize you need to be alone to heal, you tell me. You don't stay out of obligation or gratitude. You stay because you want to. I promise. Emily meant it. But Nathan, you have to promise me the same thing. If the guilt over Jessica gets too heavy, if you start to confuse protecting me with saving her, you tell me. Because I need you to see me, not her ghost. Nathan flinched, but he nodded. I promise. They sat in silence for a moment, hands clasped, both battered and broken, but somehow stronger together. A knock at the door interrupted them. Victor entered, carrying a massive bouquet of flowers. Ms. Carter, good to see you awake. Victor set the flowers on the windowsill. The team wanted me to bring these. Also to tell you that you have terrible survival instincts and excellent aim. Emily laughed despite herself. Terrible survival instincts. You jumped in front of a bullet, ma'am. That's objectively terrible survival instinct. Victor's expression softened. But it saved Nathan's life, so on behalf of everyone who works for him and depends on him, thank you. You're welcome, I think. Emily paused. Victor, what happened to the man who shot me? Dead. I killed him approximately 0.3 seconds after he pulled the trigger. Victor's tone was matter of fact. He won't be troubling anyone again. Emily nodded. She should probably feel something about that horror guilt relief, but she just felt numb. The FBI wants to interview you when you're recovered, Victor continued. Nothing urgent, just tying up loose ends for their case against the Volkov organization. I told them 2 weeks minimum. Thank you. Victor nodded and left as quietly as he'd arrived. Nathan stood carefully. I should let you rest. Dr. Morrison will have my head if I tire you out. Stay, Emily said, just for a little while longer. Nathan settled back into his chair, his hand finding hers again. Emily closed her eyes, listening to the steady beep of machines, feeling the warmth of Nathan's hand, and for the first time in months, maybe years, she felt safe. 3 months later, Emily stood in front of the Blackwell Holdings boardroom, prepared to present her strategic vision for the company's expansion into emerging markets. She wore a navy suit that actually fit her hairstyle professionally, her shoulder healed to just a faint scar. The executives filed in Robert Chen, Linda Martinez, James Okoye, and a dozen others. At the head of the table sat Nathan, his injuries long healed, watching her with quiet pride. Good morning, Emily began, her voice steady and confident. Today I'm presenting a 5-year growth strategy focusing on sustainable investments in developing economies. She clicked to the first slide. No shaking hands, no empty stomach, no fear that she'd collapse before finishing. The presentation took 40 minutes. Emily fielded questions with expertise, defended her projections with data, and acknowledged uncertainties with honesty. When she finished, the room was silent for a moment. Then Robert Chen started clapping. Linda joined him. Within seconds, the entire board was applauding. Exceptional work, Ms. Carter, Robert said. I move to approve this strategy immediately. Seconded, Linda added. Nathan didn't say anything, just smiled at Emily with an expression that said everything words couldn't. After the meeting, Emily found Nathan waiting in the hallway. Chief Financial Strategy Advisor Carter, Nathan said formally. That was impressive. Thank you, Mr. Blackwell. Emily matched his formal tone, but her eyes were warm. Though I believe you're biased. Completely, but also correct. Nathan glanced around the empty hallway, then pulled her into a gentle kiss. I'm proud of you. For the presentation, for everything, for healing, for fighting, for being here. Emily leaned into him, careful of the spots that still ached on bad days. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have, but I'm glad you didn't have to. They stood there for a moment, two people who'd survived hell and found something precious in the ashes. Emily's phone buzzed, a text from her therapist confirming their session tomorrow, another from Rachel with updates on Ryan's sentencing hearing, another from Victor with security updates Emily didn't really need anymore, but he sent anyway. Dinner tonight, Nathan asked. There's a new Italian place downtown. Very quiet, very private. Sounds perfect. As they walked toward the elevator, Emily caught their reflection in the glass. Nathan in his expensive suit, arm in a protective position near her back. Emily in her professional clothes, head high, shoulders back. They looked like a power couple, like people who belonged in this world of marble floors and corporate empires. But Emily knew the truth. They were just two broken people who'd learned to stand stronger together than they ever could apart. Emily, Nathan asked as they stepped into the elevator. What are you thinking about? Emily smiled. I'm thinking about how I used to believe falling was the end, that hitting rock bottom meant staying there forever. And now I know that sometimes falling is just the first step toward flying. Emily took his hand. You catch the fall, you heal the wounds, and then you rise higher than you ever thought possible. Nathan brought her hand to his lips. We rise together. Together, Emily agreed. And as the elevator carried them down toward whatever came next, Emily realized she'd finally found what she'd been searching for all along. Not someone to save her, but someone who believed she was worth saving herself. The girl who'd collapsed in that boardroom was gone, replaced by a woman who knew her worth, fought for her future, and refused to let anyone, not Ryan, not the Volkovs, not even her own fear, take away her power again. Emily Carter had fallen, been caught, and learned to fly, and she was never coming down.